2004 when there were 3 meetings between 1 versus 2, the WTA Tour. This is just the 4th time since that year that 1 versus 2 have met. And now it will be Azarenka versus Sharapova for the BNP Paribas Open title. Now, a lot on the line for Azarenka as she looks to improve to 23-0 and also best her very difficult opponent. She knows full well the test that is ahead of her against Maria Sharapova, but Azarenka has just had the absolute highest self-belief this year. It's been a complete turnaround. She hasn't had any real serious injuries. She did have to pull out of Dubai due to an ankle injury she suffered in Doha, but she has rebounded nicely. And for Sharapova, knowing she is 0-3 against Azarenka in finals, wants to reverse that trend today. So the final is set from Indian Wells. Azarenka won the toss, elected to receive. The championship of the BNP Paribas Open is underway. Sharapova is looking to win her 2nd title here at the BNP Paribas Open. Champion, as we showed you, back in 2006. She would join a very illustrious group of 7 women who have won this title 2 times. Nobody's won 3 titles in the California desert. Amongst those, former champion Mary Jo Fernandez, who was working here for American television as a commentator. Had a chance to talk with her earlier in the day, along with Thomas Hochstead, the coach for Maria Sharapova. And even though it's cold out there and difficult for the players to warm up, both felt that these conditions, just below 60 degrees Fahrenheit, might favor Maria today. The reason being, the ball is going to move slowly through the cold, thick air. And Maria has difficulty hitting through Azarenka on normal circumstances, but they felt as though she might be able to get her timing down better. But no better time for Azarenka than to begin with a break at love, which she is threatening to do. Her strategy of receiving to begin the match paying dividends already, it would seem, if she can convert one of the next 3 points for a 1-love lead. A lot of the reasoning being that Hochstead felt as though the cool air would help Maria is because she has been hampered a bit by ankle injuries early in the year, but that seems to have righted itself. She did suffer a bit of a left foot strain that was apparent in her semifinal against Ana Ivanovic. So with the ball moving a bit slower through this gritty surface, giving Maria time to set up her ground strokes where she can really demonstrate all of that power. Could bode well for Maria on the day. But not boding well is this opening service game. Broken. She tried to fight back, unable to do so, and Azarenka, the perfect beginning as she puts herself on the board first. So we'll see if that does, in fact, help Maria's cause for the day. Azarenka, though, has been playing with phenomenal self-belief this year. The old ways of Azarenka having difficulties with her self-belief, getting in trouble, retiring from matches, always seeming to have a lingering injury. None of that apparent in 2012, as she has done a fantastic job in coming out of the gates. She is a strong finisher when she gets the lead, just as she has already in this match. It has been a dramatic turnaround that has seen her put together this 22-0 start, as she will serve to try to consolidate that break for 2-love. Well, one of the areas that Azarenka has improved dramatically, she's not the quickest mover on court, but she has great anticipation, and she has been able, during the course of this dramatic start to 2012, impose herself on opponents. And that movement to the net as well has really been improved substantially. And the mental aspect, she really credited her mental stability and able to fight through that opening match that she had with Barthel. Remember, she led 6-4, 5-1 before dropping the second set in a tiebreak and needing a third set tiebreak to move through in 3 hours. She said it wasn't the physical aspect. She said mentally, I knew I was strong enough to hang in there and pick up the win. Part of that mental belief and the strength that she's finding these days is from that man right there, Sam Summick, who she partnered with at the end of 2009, really the beginning of the 2010 season, after working previously with Antonio Van Grinchen. It's been Summick who's been able, over the course of the last couple of years, now that they've had 2 full seasons to work together, that really helped bolster that self-belief. She already had the tremendous work ethic off the court. Just long, Sharapova will challenge.
Sharapova was just control on the right basis. What was called?
Doesn't look as though Maria's heart's completely in it, but she says, why not give it a shot and take a look? So we'll have our first challenge of the match, and the call will stand. So break point save for the moment for Azarenka. Yeah, the coupling of the off-court work ethic, the strengthening of her physically, along with the mental aspect, is what's helped Azarenka flourish this year. saving break point, Azarenka pushes herself to a 2-love lead.
Azarenka leads 2-2.
Now there's Summik with Meline Tu, who is the agent for Victoria Azarenka, just sitting to the coach's right. Constant companions alongside Azarenka, who have been enjoying what Vika's been able to produce this year, which has been perfect. 3 events prior, 3 titles, no losses, looking to make it 4 in a row. All in all, Azarenka is now in her 6th consecutive final if you go back to 2011 in Luxembourg and the WTA Championships, which were held in Turkey. It's been a remarkable run, seeing her finish number 3 in the world last year, now the world's top player. We already talked about Sam Summik working with Azarenka. This man, Thomas Hogstead, who I mentioned thought the conditions would be favorable for Maria, has been with Maria since the beginning of 2011, right after the Auckland event that is the lead up to the Australian Open. Sharapova parted ways with Michael Joyce. Hogstead came in. They seem to have developed quite a partnership that has seen Maria come back all the way to number 2 in the world. Picked up titles last year in Rome and Cincinnati for a total of 24 in her career. Maria credited Hogstead with a nice, just placid demeanor, not too pushy. He's got a brilliant tennis mind, but is able to impart his knowledge to Maria in a way that she feels it's easy to digest. He's also helped strengthen that serve, which has been suffering the yips over the last couple of years. That's well documented. But she's in trouble to begin this final. Already broken once in a 15-30 hole. There's a double fault. That's a gift for Azarenka to put her in position for 3-love, and that is not the type of service that Sharapova has exhibited throughout this tournament. She has been quite the opposite entering this final, but this is troublesome as Azarenka looks to break for a second time. One of the areas these two share is their fierce determination, and Sharapova has proven over the course of her career never one to quit. And that powerful forehand when she has time to set up, that's exactly what Hogstead was hoping would be the start of this match. It's needed to save one break point. Just the second winner on the day for Maria. And a nice serve up the tee. Azarenka caught guessing a bit, a little late. And both break points are erased. solid little run here from Sharapova, and in desperate need of it. Azarenka had won 8 of the last 10 points setting up break point, but now a trio for Sharapova puts her a point away from finally getting on the scoreboard. It all began with a fantastic return, and the depth from Azarenka put her in the driver's seat. She was able to extend Sharapova on consecutive ground strokes wide of the doubles alley on the backhand side as she unleashes just her third winner, all coming from the forehand side. Azarenka not done as she threatens for 3-love. Another brilliant return. And Sharapova on shaky ground once again. Azarenka came into the match averaging 60% in return games won. She has really upped that aspect of her game, attacking her opponent's serve and getting the breaks needed to put her in good position in matches. And her serve has backed that up nicely. Knocking on the door once again for 3-love. Survives the threat. 3 break points a race. She picks up her first ace, and Maria Sharapova on the board, but down a break. Opening set of the championship, the BNP Paribas Open.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, get your cell phones out. It's time for the Emirates Upgrade Text Contest. Are you ready? Text the word FLY right now from your cell phone to 55333, and you can win an instant upgrade for you and 3 friends to Stadium Court for the remainder of today's entire session. Compliments of Emirates Airline. If you're not already sitting in box seats, this is the coolest prize ever. The winner will be notified by text message and then escorted to your seats by the Emirates cabin crew. Standard text messaging rates may apply. Once again, text the word FLY to 55333 for your chance to win an upgrade to stadium box seats, courtesy of Emirates Airline, flying non-stop from LA to Dubai and beyond.
Now the Valley's northwest entrance from the Inland Empire. You just come out Interstate 10 from Los Angeles, about 2.5 hours, 124 miles. You come to Indian Wells. 354 days of sunshine and less than 6 inches of rain annually, but Yesterday, well, the men's semifinal day of this combined event saw a large amount of precipitation. The remnants is just some chilly weather, but the sun is back in the sky as Azarenka, enjoying a break of serve lead, looks to extend it to 3-1.
Very close. 15. Continue to roll as she holds it love for 3-1. Well, we talked so much about Azarenka's run to 22 straight match wins in 2012. If you go to WTAtennis.com, you can see how the doubles team of Liesl Huber and Lisa Raymond have done this year. An impressive 16 consecutive match wins. 4 tournaments they have now won as they are champions of the women's doubles title here at the BNP Paribas Open. They defeated Sonia Mirza and Elena Vesnina yesterday, 6-2, 6-3. An impressive beginning for the doubles team of Huber and Raymond, to say the least. Lisa Raymond picking up her 7th title here in Indian Wells. All available at WTAtennis.com. A lot of similarities between these two players. It just seems as though Sharapova has been around so much longer than Azarenka, but there's barely a year and a half age difference between the two. And other than the obvious audio that you hear coming from the court, where they both tend to exhibit a bit of that audible portion of their game, which can be disconcerting for many fans, they have a lot of the same determination and fighting spirit, which Azarenka has found very fruitful this year. Sharapova, former #1. Azarenka holding that position now. And other than the sounds they listen on the court, I think it goes to safe to say that both sort of do things their own way. Not necessarily the friendliest amongst their fellow tour members. Feel as though they've got to keep themselves focused. Sharapova, very quick, she says, to get out of the locker room. No high fives, not commiserating with other players, not looking to be friends. Azarenka is finding that that's becoming more common now that she's the top player in the world. Sharapova, not
a hold in love, but she's very close. Only one blemish, unless Azarenka's challenge on the return sends them back to the court. And indeed it will. They'll replay 40-15 as Azarenka benefits from the challenge system.
Very good game there. Just try to relax, let you come under and go into the ball. And then when you can, you go the first shot to the forehand, especially that you go back to the ball. Now that this last game here, you went back there and she's like everything. So when you just play the control, like last game when she served, you play the first ball, kind of just push the ball back into the backhand, and then she hits fast next ball, and then you make the mistake. And when she gets to move there onto the forehand, she's like really try to relax and give yourself energy. Second ball, you go in. When you control the ball, she has no chance. Alright? Take 1 point at a time, go in there. First shot when you can to the forehand, like you did now in this game, and then back to this one, like the backhand down the line here. She's like struggling big time. Alright? And really early turn. Serving great, serving great. Try that and really make sure you do that. Okay? That's under the ball and then work on the ball. Alright? We're going to win this now. Come on, let's go.
Time.
Thomas Hogstead having a moment to talk with Maria Sharapova and an opportunity to impart some of his wisdom as he just mostly went down as support and say, you're in this match. It's just a single break.
continue to play your game. And Maria steps out looking to try to get the break and serve back. Well, positivity coming from Team Sharapova. No need to panic at this juncture. Although it has been a marvelous run for Vika Azarenka. She's been able to handle Sharapova well over the course of their last 4 meetings. 3 wins, all of them in finals. And she served particularly impressively. She won 15 of her last 16 service games against Sharapova. .22-stroke rally, the longest of the match thus far, as they both just settle in. Really almost a game of chicken. See who would flinch first. As Azarenka not backing down, nor would Sharapova. You wouldn't expect as much from these two fierce competitors. That might be indicative of what we can expect this afternoon. Really going after their ground strokes. Azarenka working on her first serve, getting it in 82% of the time. That's just 9 of 11. That's an impressive start, and backed it up nicely, 3 of 5 on her second serve. Azarenka for 4-2. So 32 minutes into this final, and already Azarenka has asserted herself with the upper hand, and that break just the distance. But Sharapova struggling to find her form with now 11 unforced errors, and that plays right into the hands of Azarenka and Sam Summick. The hard part about Sharapova's game, of course, is the high-risk tennis she plays. Small margin of error because she hits the ball so flat. It sort of thins the court a bit for Sharapova. As mentioned now, 12 unforced errors, and 8 of them coming from the backhand wing. This would be devastating for Sharapova's hopes in this opening set, not only to suffer a second break, but the way Azarenka has been serving. 11 of her last 12 points would certainly put her in prime position for the one-set advantage. The Belarusian makes some noise here with a break for 5-2. Recipe, solid, consistent play from the world number one, getting a lot of help from the unforced errors of Sharapova. Azarenka will serve for a one-set lead. Brisk day in Southern California in the Coachella Valley, Indian Wells. Temperatures just starting to reach 60 degrees Fahrenheit. You see some of the extra wear for Victoria Azarenka to keep herself warm on the court. Well, she has been on fire, all ready to begin. 2 breaks of serve against Maria Sharapova has put her in position to serve for this opening set. That backhand has just completely abandoned Maria Sharapova. It is becoming an albatross, and Azarenka has been picking on that wing. Now in double digits in the unfortunate statistic of unforced errors from the backhand side for the Russian. Azarenka controlling this match from the baseline. She's won 23 of the 36 points from the baseline position. And when you're controlling your part of the game and handling what's often the strong suit of your opponent, well, that is the perfect description of how to handle things when you're looking for a 12th career title. Triple set point for Azarenka. She's going to have to rely on that forehand, isn't she? Maria needing that winner. She's got 9 in the match, only 2 from that side. She's had to benefit from a couple of aces, but she's going to need to summon some resolve because the backhand has been, well, her vulnerability. Big forehand return, sails long, and Victoria Azarenka